Hi kids! Welcome to Module 2, Day 3, Lesson 2 in English 7 session. Join me to uncover the active and passive voice of the verb wherein we're able to change active voice to passive voice and vice versa from passive voice to active voice. And let's have our lesson objectives. You'll be able to change the voice of the verb from active to passive and from passive to active voice. Use active and passive voice of the verb appropriately in varied contexts and describe the steps in a process using the passive voice of the verb. Now, let's rethink and then reinform. You have to identify if that statement is active or passive. They speak German in Austria. Is it active or passive? Excellent, it's active. Some trees are being planted. Some trees are being planted. Active, passive. Brilliant! They closed the door. They closed the road for a day. Active or passive? Nice. The problem can be solved. The problem can be solved. Excellent. Okay. You'll be able to identify now the active and then the passive. Now let's have this one. Transform sentences in active voice to sentences in the passive voice. Move the active sentences direct object into the sentences subject slot. We have to identify the direct object. Marilyn mailed the letter. The direct object is the letter, so we have to move it towards the sentence subject slot. So you have there the letter and then it's blank because we have to form that sentence to a passive voice. Place the active sentence subject into a phrase beginning with the preposition by. Marilyn mailed the letter. We're done with the object. We moved it towards the subject slot. That's why the letter blank. And then we have to identify the subject, and then the subject is Marilyn. So we have to add by, preposition by. That's why you have there the by phrase by Marilyn. The letter blank by Marilyn. Add a form of the auxiliary verb be to the main verb and change the main verb's form depending on the number if it is singular or plural of the direct object in the active sentence. Now, being the subject in the passive sentence, the tense of the verb in the active voice remains in the passive transformation. Marilyn mailed the letter. We moved the object into the subject slot. So the letter, and then we also move the subject by putting a by phrase. That's why by Marilyn. And then we have to change the verb. Upon changing the verb, make sure you know if it is in the present or in the past tense. Since you have it there mailed, false in past tense, we'll use was or were. Was for singular, were for plural. So the letter that's singular, so we'll use was plus the main verb mailed and then the by phrase by Marilyn. So there you have it. From active voice, we change it to passive voice, and the sentence is the letter was mailed by Marilyn. Let's look. In some cases, the prepositional phrase by phrase may be omitted. It does not follow that all passive transformations should have the prepositional phrase introduced by the preposition by. So we can have this one, the letter was mailed. But if you want to change this one into active voice, you can add a subject. If you want it as you will use personal pronouns or you want to be specific with the name, that's why we can have it Marilyn mailed the letter or she or he mailed the letter. Take a look with the table. You have there the present simple tense and the past simple tense. Present simple tense, active voice, and then you have it also there, passive voice. So he writes a letter that's that's the object, and then we'll change it into the subject slot, a letter, and then writes, okay, present, and then we have to change that one into past participle. A letter, since it's singular, we'll use is. A letter is plus the past participle of the word write into written, and then the by phrase by, and then we have to change the subject pronoun he into the object pronoun, which is him. A letter is written by him. Same with the other sentences. He doesn't write a letter. A letter is not written by him. Does he write a letter? Is a letter written by him? They sell books. Books are sold by them. From the active voice, sell. Okay? And then we change it into the past participle, sold. And don't forget the auxiliary. We'll use are, it's because books, singular, plural. Okay, it's plural. That's why books are sold by them. So change they into object pronoun. Books are sold by them. She helps me. Here, the me in active voice, we'll change this one into subject. That's why I. And then of course, if we'll use I, the auxiliary is I am. And then plus the participle of the verb helps, helped, and then the by phrase by, and change the subject pronoun she into the object pronoun her. I am helped by her. Past simple tense. He bought a car. A car was bought by him. Was, it's because singular. Car. Then he did not buy a car. A car was not bought by him. So by, remember we have to change that one into the past participle. That's why both. Did he buy a car? Was a car bought by him? She decorated the walls. The walls were decorated by her. Remember the subject now. You have there the walls. That's why it's where. The walls were decorated by her. I helped them. They were helped by me. So we change it to the object pronoun they, and then were helped. Okay, from them, no, from them we change it to subject, subject pronoun they, and then it's plural. That's why we use where. Then of course the past participle helped, and then the by phrase by, and then change the subject pronoun into the object pronoun. That's why me. They were helped by me. Transform sentences in passive voice to sentences in the active voice. Move the passive sentence subject into the active sentence's direct object slot. So we have to move again the subject towards the object slot. So, of course, the letter, that's the subject. We have to move it to the object slot and then blank the letter. Remove the auxiliary verb be from the main verb and change main verb's form if needed. Next, the verb. Let's look for the verb, and then the verb was mailed. So the letter automatic will move the auxiliary verb be, and then okay, retain the main verb, and you can change if it's needed. Okay, so mailed, you have it there, mailed. Blank mailed the letter. Next, place the passive sentence object of the preposition by into the subject slot. So we have to omit the word by, and then Marilyn will move the word to the subject slot. That's why Marilyn mailed the letter. And then let's try. Are you ready to try? Okay, and then let's begin. The servants roasted 3 chickens. So we change this into passive. 3 chickens. That's the object. Since the main verb roasted, that's in the past tense. So 3 chickens were roasted. We use were because many chickens roasted. Okay, the by phrase. The servants. And then let's try to see if we got it right. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, congratulations. Next, the rich man closed the windows of the big house. And And the statement is active, so we change it into passive. The windows, the windows of. Don't forget the preposition. Preposition of the object of the big house. Of the big house. Closed. Okay, closed. That is past tense. So be careful with the auxiliary be form of the verb. Use words because windows. And then the by phrase. Then, then, then. Yay! We got it right. The lawyer interrogated my father. Okay, active. And then we have to change this into passive. My father was interrogated. We use was, it's because father is singular. And then was also, it's because interrogated falls in the past tense by the lawyer. Lawyer. My father was interrogated by the lawyer. And then let's try if it's got it right. Yay! Another point. Next, the hut was filled with silver coins by my father. It's in passive, so we have to change this one to active voice. So we have to omit the by. So my father, we have to look for the main verb. So filled the object. Then my father filled the hat with silver coins. I hope we got it right. Okay, congratulations. How about this one? The old army uniform was brushed by my father. Okay, so since it's passive because of the phrase, the by phrase, so we have to change it into active. So my father, look for the verb. Okay, so the main verb, brushed, it's past tense because of, no, we're given clue, was, of there was, and that falls in the past tense. My father brushed the old army uniform. Let's try to see if we got it right. My father brushed the old army uniform. Dun, 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 dun. Wow, brilliant. And now let's be reminded that because it is more direct, most writers prefer to use the active voice whenever possible. The passive voice may be a better choice, however, when the doer of the action is unknown, unwanted, or unneeded in the sentence. The writer wishes to emphasize the action of the sentence rather than the doer of the action. And the writer wishes to use passive voice for sentence variety. And then that ends our session. Hope that you've learned something. And thank you for listening. And I'll see you on our virtual class. Bye.